weird. You can see his persona. He did that shit. And I know why he did it. I know why he dealt with younger kids.
Alright, shalom Israel.
Shalom.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we are back in action. Ready to come and bring this class. What I was going into was Nehemiah. Quatazat, he had set it up, gave you guys the overview of what we're about to go into. And just to give you a little backstory on Nehemiah, he is the cupbearer for King Artaxerxes, the 6th king of the Medo-Persian Empire. If you don't know, the cupbearer is actually a pretty prestigious role. You're close with the king and you're not doing a lot of labor. And Nehemiah, he overheard some Hebrews. He overheard some people speaking Hebrew. He went to go find out who these guys were, chopped it up with them, asked them, well, hey, did y'all come from Jerusalem? Have y'all been by Jerusalem? They're like, yeah, what's the state of the city? They told him it's a broke down situation, man, it's not good. So Nehemiah was down, and then in the midst of getting this information, Nehemiah was called to come bring the king a drink. So he went to go do his thing. Long story short, the king seen that he was looking down and depressed. King's like, well, hey, why you down? He said, because of this, Jerusalem is in a bad situation. And beforehand, Nehemiah had prayed to the Most High, asking that he would have favor with the king. And the king was like, hey, well, you know what? Look, go ahead and do what you got to do. Just look more cheerful when you're around me. And so he was like, all right, cool. Put him in a good spirit, and the king let him go do his thing.
No audio? Can y'all hear us?
That?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So Nehemiah, what he did, he rallied his kinsmen that were like-minded with him in order to go about to accomplish his mission of rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. And what this makes me think about is how back in the day, when the brothers that started Israelite camps, the first camp, how they started waking up and coming into the knowledge of the truth and getting their minds ready and getting together with other brothers that were like-minded to build, to get this information out. But first they had to build themselves up and get together and come together in order to start to build or get the information back out about the nation, to rebuild the nation. First scripture, give me Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 17.
Yeah, it's a good class because, these are we're going to go over some of the fundamental things that it takes to rebuild a nation. I mean, again, I said it earlier, we're in rebuild mode right now. And some people ain't though. Some people are in relaxed mode. Some people are in I already got it mode. But as a nation, we should be in rebuild mode. Rebuilding and coming back to our laws, our statutes, commandments, coming back to our heritage. So, first thing you need is that like-mindedness. You know why a lot of organizations fall? You know why a lot of things don't get off the ground is because someone there or the parties involved aren't like-minded. All right, so we got to keep that in mind. But go ahead, where you at?
Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 17. Then said I unto them, ye we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach.
So Nehemiah, he's setting these bros up, and he's like, let's get to work. Our city, our homeland is in a decayed situation. His heart really went out to this. Read on.
Verse 18. Then I told them of the hand of my power, which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, let us rise up and build.
Who said?
They said.
Okay, it says they said. So Nehemiah brought this info to him. Says, hey, look, let's go build these walls up. Let's go do this. And I got the favor of the king because the Most High is on my side. And they said, let's do this. They was ready. They was amped. Nehemiah didn't say, come on, let's go build. He told them, and they said, let's go do this. Read on.
Let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands.
They did what?
They strengthened their hands.
Go ahead.
For this good work.
So the strengthening of their hands, you know, that first starts in the mind. Their mind had to be ready and prepared to do this work. It wasn't something that they were just like, oh, okay, we're going to go do this robotically. No, they had a zeal. They had a urgency, a desire to do this work. It wasn't for no fictitious glory either. They did it out of genuine love for their people. And also what I want you to notice in this is the unity. Because if they weren't in the same mind, the same judgment, they wouldn't be able to get this done. If there was no unity in this, they wouldn't be able to get it done. So they strengthened their minds, their hands to do the work. Now, I want you to think about this. When the brothers back at One West got together the schools, or got together and start compiling this information, the history, anthropology, archaeology, to bring the information to our people, not only they strengthened their hands, they strengthened their mind. And when they were delivering the message, and it started coming out, how do you think the people were looking at us? How do you think the people were looking at them? That's a question. Jermaine, how do you think when brothers start coming out, speaking this new type of information that hasn't previously been heard in public, and dressing a different way, how they were perceived?
Shoot, people like start scratching their head like, what? Where's this coming from?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like, you know, this is new information, man. I don't know if I can trust this. It's the old, you know, I'm used to the old way.
Right.
Right. How do people do with any information that's
Question.
foreign or unheard? They automatically, and especially when it comes to anything to do with black people rising up. It could be new information about how to have sex with your dog, and people will be all over that.
Right.
But on new information on how black people can rise up and be a people, it's like, oh yeah, we don't. Nah. The Bible. And then y'all using the Bible? What? No, what? Bible don't say that. Not my Jesus. My Jesus ain't black.
Nuh-uh. No, sir.
So, the same way, I like the analogy too, because, that stands to even this day. Come on. You still got people out there that's like, nah, the information that y'all coming with, you strengthen yourself in this wisdom. You got it, you strengthen up your mind, you gird up your loins, you strengthen your hands, you get ready for this work. But then they're like, well, why are you going to go work? You got people that question the work that you're going to do. And they try to disannul it and make it seem like it's not important.
Okay.
Wearing fringes ain't important. Wearing your beard ain't important. Being an example is not important. When in turn, all those things are important. All those things are important because they show they show something about what you represent. Give me real quick, Philippians 2:13. They show something, the work that we do. Think about it, when you work for McDonald's, who you represent? McDonald's, right? Yeah, you ain't gonna flip burgers the way Burger King wants you to flip them. You're gonna flip them the way McDonald's said.
Yes, sir.
You ain't gonna salt the fries or the no salt that Burger King does, but you're gonna do the extra salt that McDonald's does. I haven't had McDonald's fries in a long time. They are salty. But give me this, Philippians 2:13.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 13.
Uh-huh.
For it is the Most High which worketh in you.
So this is what people are gonna see. This is what people see when you do the fringes, the beard, when you do keep a standard, when you do hold to the custom. They do what? Read it again.
For it is the Most High which worketh in you.
See, they see that the Most High is working in you. Or they should. They should through our example. Go ahead.
Both to will and to do.
Right, and he gives us the will. See, this is what was going on with Nehemiah and these men. The Most High worked in Nehemiah and put the will, the spark. See, Nehemiah didn't have to be motivated, and neither did the men around him, really.
Nope.
He went to them with what needed to happen, and they were like, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High put the will in them. To will and to do. Go ahead.
Of his good pleasure.
Go ahead. That's it. Read on. Read verse 14.
Do all things without murmuring.
And I continue here to show you that these men didn't murmur, they didn't complain, they didn't, man, what the hell this nigga Nehemiah want?
Right.
They go behind his back like, man, this cat's wild, man. Rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Like, that ain't never gonna get done.
Man, you know how much work is involved in that?
Yeah, man, that's just too much work. That's, man, I don't know what, man, I gotta go home and I gotta go kick it with my family. Mm-hmm. He said, do what?
Do all things without murmuring.
Go ahead.
And disputing.
Read.
That ye may be blameless.
Right.
And harmless.
That you may be what?
Blameless and harmless.
Read on.
The sons of the Most High.
Come on.
Without rebuke.
Without what?
Rebuke.
Read on.
In the midst of a crooked and perverse nation.
Because remember, during this time we were captives. We were captives to what? Persian and Medes.
Yes, sir.
So we're in the midst of these crooked and perverse nations. As we read the story, we're gonna see how they looked at us. The same way when brothers was coming out talking about we're not Africans, we're Israelites, and everybody's like, nigga, you tripping, you an African.
Right.
And all these nations came up against brothers, and they still do, even our own people. Mm-hmm. Well, what do we got to do? See, our point, our thing is to do things without murmuring and disputing. See, there's too much disputing and infighting within Israel. It's funny, man. There was a post today, virgin birth. And all you see is Israel, and one sister made a good point. She's like, you think the Christians are fighting about this? You think the Christians are fighting about what we fight about?
Nope.
She made a good point. Hell no, they're firm in their belief. Mm-hmm. They ain't got no division in whether Christ was born by the angel. They all believe it. Mm-hmm. Whether you Baptist, Pentecost, Seventh-day Disadvantage, Jehovah's Wickedness, they all believe how Christ came. By an angel. But why is it that when it's time for Israel to get up and build and work and strengthen our hands, we strengthen our hands for the wrong damn thing?
That's right.
Now we are no longer blameless because in the nations it's like, well, you don't even believe it. Or there's division within y'all. So why am I supposed to believe you? Y'all see that? With that division and that infighting, it causes you to no longer be blameless in the sight of others. But these men, go back to Nehemiah. Go back to Nehemiah, read verse 18 one more time.
Nehemiah chapter 2.
No, you got it.
Verse 18. Then I told them of the hand of my power,
go ahead,
which was good upon me,
read,
as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, let us rise up and build.
No, they argued.
Let us rise up and build.
They disputed, they murmured, they called Nehemiah crazy and said, nigga, you don't know what you're talking about.
Let us rise up and build.
Yeah, why? Because everyone was looking. But they understood what needed to be done. So instead of arguing about everything and what we should do and where we should build, let's just get up and do it.
Do it.
Because we're in the midst of perverseness and crooked people. Let's at least be blameless in front of them. The same way when brothers was rolling back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's the same thing. But that's how we gotta roll now. But it's too much, everybody looking to build something on top of something and get that glory. It's too much of that. Jump back. Go to verse 19, right? Go ahead.
19. But when Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arabian heard it, they laughed us to scorn.
No, they congratulated us for being concerned about our people and about our nation.
They laughed us to scorn.
No, they thought it was a good work that we're doing something good for our community and for ourselves.
They laughed us to scorn.
Read on.
And despised us, and said, what is this thing that ye do? Will ye rebel against the king?
Yeah, so they were tripping on us. They made fun of us. They mocked us. So they laughed us to scorn. Come on now, you ever have someone making fun of you, ridiculing you, just relentlessly on you? That's how the nations were with us. That's the same way. Like you got these YouTubers talking about debunking the black Hebrew Israelites. First of all, we're not the black Hebrew Israelites. We are Hebrew Israelites. You got Polite out there. You got TD Jakes. TD Snakes. Creflo Long Dollar. You know, Joe Osteen. All these different pork chop preachers.
Right.
Well, you got the news and the media.
You know what's wild though? TD Jakes ain't talking nothing about no Israelites. Neither is Joe Osteen. Neither. First of all, what's the fat man? Fat man that be in all the Tyler Perry movies? What's his name, man?
Tyler Perry?
No, the other pastor, big dude, Nigerian. I don't know who it is, man. I keep forgetting his name, man. Big Potter's House.
That's TD Jakes, right?
Oh, it is TD Jakes. Yeah, TD Jakes. He recognizes that he's a Hebrew. He'll tell you his people is Igbo, Nigerian. They were Hebrews. He recognizes it, and I'm bringing that out because guess what? It ain't these big pastors talking down on us. It's our own people.
It's us.
It's our own people acting worse than the nations.
John.
When it comes to, I gotta debunk this guy, and I gotta debunk this and debunk that. It be our own people, man. It ain't. You think Joe Osteen gives a damn about what the hell we doing on the corners? Bro, he got a $1 billion congregation.
Right.
He don't give a damn about no Israelites. He looking at us like, man, they not putting, as long as they ain't putting a dent in my bottom line, I'm good. But we're the ones that hurt ourselves. And you know what's sad is because the nations, they throw it out there. They put, remember, Psalms 83. They know how to destroy us, man. So what do? They put us against one another. They put doctrines like virgin birth. They put things out there like Esau's arrow. They put things out there like you can't ejaculate in your woman. Right. They put things out there. The whole woman had the whole list of like 20 different doctrines that done popped up since YouTube opened.
Gone.
All to destroy what we build. But the nations start that. And then you got dumb coon niggas that cling on to it like, yeah, my white daddy is right. My white daddy is right. Esau is the arrow. When Esau himself tell you who the hell he is. My white daddy is right. An angel did sleep with Mary and bring forth Christ. When that's damn adultery. And no angels can impregnate a woman. But you got unlearned. You got the brothers and sisters. They haven't strengthened their hands. They haven't strengthened their minds to put their hands to the work. The only work they're doing is this. On a keyboard. Fingers as strong as hell from typing. But you ain't got your hand to the real plow, and that's the problem. Just like these nations, and then you got the nerve to sit up there. It be our people calling us Power Rangers. It be our people saying that we we off. It be our people that want to battle and be grudgeful and disgruntled against us. The nations ain't even on that. You got more, these damn nations be like, yeah, y'all right, y'all are the Israelites. Y'all are the true people of the book. It's crazy. But in this case, you got to see, just going back, in this case, it was the nations. It was these nations that we were around about that oppressed us and they laughed us to scorn, man. But we gotta see in this day where that comes from. That comes from our own people. It's sad as hell. The same ones that you fighting and sacrificing, the same ones you sacrifice for, right? And you put your hand to the work for and you give up all for, those are the same ones that'll laugh you to scorn.
All right.
And make it look like the work you doing it don't matter.
God.
But the whole thing is you're doing it for them. That's what they don't get.
Right. This whole work is for them. This whole work is for the nation.
Yeah.
So, on that point, give me 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 9.
Yeah, like Mustafa, he said that they weren't doubtful, man. Mustafa said it. They didn't have no doubt. They were like, man, let's go do this. Too many brothers and sisters come to build and got too much doubt. Too much anxiety in you. Too much waveriness. Like, man, I don't know why the Most High brought me here. You pray for the Most High to bring you into the light. He brings you and you question the light. Yeah, the Most High, I prayed for this to meet y'all. And then you meet us and it's like, okay, let's get to work. I don't know about that. I don't know about that work stuff.
Oh yeah, y'all brothers are doing too much.
Y'all working too hard.
Y'all working too hard.
What?
I mean, I got my own personal life I got to deal with. I got my family, my kids.
Sure, then that fan's about to drop. Go ahead, where you at?
1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9. For I think that the Most High has set forth us, the apostles last,
One of my favorites. Come on.
as it were appointed to death.
Read.
For we are made a spectacle unto the world,
Read.
and to angels, and to men.
Now, when we walk out in our fringes, in our full garment, Hebrew Israelite attire, how are we looking? They're like, these brothers look weird. Are they going to some Renaissance convention? They cosplayers? Power Rangers? Why are they dressing so funny? They look at us weird. Just like how the nations in Nehemiah's time laughed us to scorn. Read on.
Verse 10. We are fools for Yahweh's sake.
We are what?
We are fools for Yahweh's sake.
Yeah, we do this for Christ's sake. We do this to uphold the law, statutes, and commandments. We do this to be a sign to our nation, to our people. We don't wear these fringes just because it's a fashion trend, a fashion style. No, we do it because that's what the law says. And that makes us, people on the outside looking in, think we're fools for dressing like this. They think we're fools for going down the street speaking. They think we're fools for passing out this literature, trying to waken Israel up.
You know, I always say, I'd rather follow the Bible. Kazak says it all the time too. I'd rather follow the Bible if you call it a comic book fiction. Like I was watching something today, this damn Judite, coon, talking about everything, every single thing in the Bible was allegoric to something else. Meaning that it was just a symbolism. Like Noah never existed, King James, Solomon, like none of these people existed in the Bible.
Right.
So like the Antiochus Epiphanes didn't exist, and Nebuchadnezzar's didn't exist. They're historical figures, but I always say I'd rather put my chips on this and go full force in this than full force in the world.
Yeah.
I'd rather read this comic than any other comic, if that's what you want to call it.
Right.
I'd rather believe the things of the Bible than what the world is pushing or live according to the course of the world, because what's the world got to offer?
Death.
What a sore anal cavity
Ooh.
for a male. What does it got to offer? That's all they pushing, right?
Yep.
That's all they pushing is homosexuality. Like, yo, everything stems around sexuality in this damn world.
Got it.
On some wavelength or another. And how to abuse your body and abuse yourself and give yourself to this demon and give yourself to that demon. Everything is stemmed on giving yourself over to something.
Got it.
So I'd rather give myself over to this and live according to this than something that's going to be painful in the end.
The literal end.
Right. Right. But that's the thing. Read that Corinthians one more time, man.
1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9.
Right?
For I think that the Most High has set forth us, the apostles last,
Read.
as it were appointed to death.
Because that's what it is. That's what it feels like sometimes. It's like, damn. It feels like death, but it's life. He that loses life shall gain it. So if you lose in a life, it is death.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
Yeah, death for the old man. Go ahead.
For we are made a spectacle unto the world.
And that's what you got to understand coming in. That's what you got to understand when you rebuilding, just like Noah building that ark. He was a spectacle to the whole world. Everybody that passed by him for that 110 years of him building that ark was like, nigga, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
It ain't never rained ever.
Ever.
Ever. What are you doing? What are you thinking? Laughed at him. Laughed him to scorn. Said he was crazy, insane, nuts. Until that first drop hit the tip of their nose. And what were they trying to do? Too late. They couldn't even run to the ark. Go ahead.
And to angels.
And to what?
And to angels.
Read.
And to men. We are fools for Christ's sake.
We are what?
We are fools for Christ's sake.
Yeah, so when these nations, when your family, when your closest friend is looking at you like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you dressed like that? Why do you eat like that? Why do you think like that? Because it's not just how you dress, it's a thought process.
Exactly.
Why do you think like that? Why do you let that Bible control your thoughts? Just know you're doing it for Christ's sake. And that it's not a bad thing. And that you should rather the Bible be the filter than go off of your own mind.
Oh yeah.
I pray every day for the Most High not to give me over to my own thoughts every day. And let me just filter through here because, bro, our thoughts are wicked, man. Our thoughts are off. And all it wants to do is cater to the flesh. Go ahead, where you at?
God, I even had someone tell me before. He goes, you know what? You're weak-minded. You're weak-minded because you let yourself be brainwashed by the Bible.
God.
I'm like, I'm weak-minded because I allow myself to be brainwashed. I go, well, let's break down brainwash.
Right.
You only wash things that are dirty.
Right.
God.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I left it at that. I go, so if me following this book improves my way of thinking, improves my way of living, improves my way of dealing with my fellow humankind, I'm going to do it. And there's nothing weak in following strength. Read on.
But ye are wise in Christ. We are weak, but ye are strong. Ye are honorable.
And this is how they look at us, man. They look at us like we weak and they're the strong ones.
Right.
They despise us. Right? Where you at?
Last precept.
Go ahead.
Ye are honorable.
Right, because that's how they look at themselves, man. The ones that ridicule, like they're the ones that are in honor.
Yeah, they're the smart ones.
They're the smart ones. And they look at us like we're crap.
Kinda.
Like we're the offscouring of the... Go ahead, read on.
But we are despised.
Where you going to? Go ahead.
Even unto this present hour, we both hunger and thirst and are naked.
And these are the conditions, man, when you come to build. When you come to put it all on the line, these are the things you give up. But just because you give these things up, you're not really, you know what's funny? You're giving them up on what you're giving up is your means of getting these things. Because the Most High said he's going to feed you, clothe you, right? Feed you. So you give up your means of how to acquire these things, and now they got to be acquired on a different level. Now it's faith and patience. Go ahead.
And are buffeted.
Go ahead.
And have no certain dwelling place.
Read.
And labor, working with our own hands.
See, we're laboring. This is what it's about. The work isn't about just hearing a good word, getting a motivational speech. It's about putting your hand to the work. It's about actually working, not just sitting back in the seats, but actually putting your hand to the work. when we get this knowledge compiled up in our brains, it's not for us to just sit on it. It's not for us to just say, oh, I'm wise within myself. It's for us to teach somebody else. It's for us to get the word out. It's for us, it's for y'all that's down here to be up here. And for me to go somewhere else, for him to go somewhere else. And restart the process over.
And the beautiful thing, while all this is going on, the hunger and the thirsting, is saying that you go through those things, those are your trials, but you still gotta work. Can't be an excuse like, oh well, I got this going on, I can't continue. Who quits their job when they're going through marital problems?
Nobody.
Who quits their job? You hustle harder. Who quits their job when they're going through money problems? Nobody. You hustle harder.
Right.
You put in more time.
Dig in.
You dig right in. Go ahead.
Being reveled, we bless.
Right, go ahead.
Being persecuted, we suffer.
We do what?
We suffer.
Go ahead, verse 13.
Being defamed.
Because this is what happens. We get defamed. Not that we had fame anyway. Who the hell are we? Who am I to even feel defamed? I ain't got no prestige. I ain't got no fame. I ain't got no glory. That could have been taken from me. All that anybody in the world could ever say about me is, oh, you left me hanging and went and did the Bible thing. That's gonna come from who? Family?
Yep.
Parents?
Friends.
Go ahead.
We entreat. We are made as the filth of the world.
Go ahead.
And are the offscouring.
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 You know what the offscouring is? When you clean a pot. You getting all that filth out when you burn that rice up and burn that food and you scour that pot. All that filth that comes from the bottom of that pot.
That's us.
That's what we are made to be like.
God.
That's what, I don't want to say it feels like that because it don't. They don't feel like that. I don't feel like crap.
God.
I feel, man, bro, I look at people and I'm like, damn, you look and feel like crap. People that don't have the wisdom. Because the one thing I'm very happy about is being able to have the presence of mind to be able to go through problems, go through trials, and not lose my brain, not lose my mind, not have to go to get on drugs or alcohol, and also being blessed and not getting too overexcited and getting lost in that. I'm glad I have enough balance and wisdom to keep keep me 10 toes down.
That's right.
Right? But you'll feel like this if you don't understand what you're doing. You'll feel like this if you don't understand what you're doing and why you're doing it for. You'll feel like the offscouring of the earth because they tell you that you are. But we know better. Just like going back to where we at? Where we going to?
We're going to Nehemiah chapter 4 verse 1.
Just like go there, but just like in the Nehemiah we just read it 2. That's how these nations made Nehemiah and his men feel. Like they were the offscouring. Like, what the hell are y'all doing? It's pointless. Like, build the walls. Bro, the walls are going to be trash. Right? So where we at?
Nehemiah 4:1.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 4, verse 1. But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth.
He was what?
He was wroth.
Why are you getting mad? Why are you getting mad? Because we're taking care of our city. Anyways, read on.
And took great indignation.
Read.
And mocked the Jews.
So they laughed us to scorn before. We actually start putting our hands to the work, getting the work done, and now they're getting mad at it. They're upset. They're hot. It says indignation. Watch, I have a definition for indignation. Indignation is a strong displeasure at something considered unjust, offensive, insulting, or base. Righteous anger. We know they didn't have righteous anger. They're just upset because we're getting things done. They don't want to see us come together.
Right.
They don't want to see Jerusalem come together. They hate to see the unity within us.
It said they mocked them, right? Ain't that how them Jews, ain't that how them Israelis do us? Ain't that how they do us? Like, no, that's not Hebrew. That's not how you say that. This is the tzitzit, right? It's shalom.
Shalom.
Right? That's not how you say this. And then you start breaking their ass down, they like start second guessing their whole nationality. I'm like, man, like, bro, first of all, where's your great grandfather from? He's Iraqi. Okay, so then you're Iraqi.
Right.
Shut them down, and then numbers 118, boom, and they're like, oop, got him. You're right. If you're Iraqi and your mom is whatever, you're not a real Jew. But they try to mock. They'll mock us. They'll say that we're not speaking the right language. We're not doing, or they'll come like, you celebrate the Hanukkah? Or my favorite one is this. Oh, you Jewish? You circumcised? It's like, bro, don't ask me about
My
man parts.
Come on.
Don't ask me about that. No other man should be asking me that.
Right.
Like, what you mean? Don't ask me that. But that's how they try to mock. Like, when you circumcised 8th day, like they try to mock, but that's how they do it. And they feel like they got you if you don't want to answer. You know, so you got to see, man, the same things that happened in Nehemiah's times, it's the same thing that happens to us to this day. It's going to keep happening. Go ahead.
God. Verse 2. And he
No,
spake.
hold on there. We're going to jump over to the Josephus
Read.
book. So we're going to go into the Josephus.
Book 11, chapter 5.
Book 11, chapter 5, and section is like in a parentheses, or no, it's not parentheses, but they're like parentheses.
Book 11,
173.
chapter 5, section 173. Right here. All right, so y'all know we hop into the Josephus from time to time. Josephus was an Israelite historian. He was around during the time of the siege of Jerusalem. He was captive to Titus and Pompey. All right, so he documented a lot of things throughout our history. So
Yes.
we're gonna read where we at, book 11, chapter 5.
Section 173, and this is just a little more in between the lines, sort of say.
It says, so the Jews prepare for the work. That is the name they are called by from the day that they came up from Babylon, which is taken from the tribe of Judah, which came first in these places. Is this it?
Yes, sir.
And thence both they and the country gained that appellation. But now when the Ammonites and the Moabites and the Samaritans and all that inhabited Chelsea heard that the building went on apace, they took it heinously and proceeded to lay snares for them and to hinder their intentions.
They were like, this is a heinous act against humanity. They took it like this was something horrible, detrimental. And they started laying traps and snares for us.
Just like when you say Jesus is black, it's like you committed a crime.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, not my Jesus. No, why are you guys trying to change Jesus? It's like, because, no, y'all changed him first. We didn't change him. All we're doing is showing you what he really looked like. But from there,
Was that it?
yeah, that's it for right now. From there, give me Psalms chapter 69 and verse 4, because this hate that just stirred up in them, it was like for no reason. They had no reason to really be hating us. They had no reason to feel this way towards us. Because guess what? We weren't doing anything to them. We weren't causing a disruption in their country. We weren't trying to change them and convert them. We weren't trying to war or fight against them. But they took this as an assault towards them. Read where you at.
Book of Psalms, chapter 69 and verse 4. They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of mine head.
They didn't have a cause for hating us. They just hate us for the reason of hating. They had the spirit in them to hate us. Just because we were doing something positive for ourselves. They wanted to continue to see us in a lower state. Just like now. We start coming together, doing things positively for the community. Think about Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Black Wall Street, coming together, doing something positive, And what they want to do, they want to try to shut that down. They did. They were very successful at that.
Destroy me.
Read on.
Come. They that would destroy me, being mine enemies wrongfully, are mighty. Then I restored that which I took not away.
Yeah, and they're looking at us like, hey, you guys are all upset about slavery and the things that happened in the past. Just forget about that. That was in the past.
Right.
You know, why are you guys upset about that? So we gotta, and then they expect us to get along and say, oh, well, you know what? You're right. You're right. It was in the past.
Or never forget. Think about it. They mock you because they'll tell you to forget your history, but never forget 9/11. Never forget OKC bombing.
Mm-hmm.
Never forget whatever other
Holocaust.
the Holocaust, right? Never forget what they went through, but forget about what we put you through. But 9/11 slogan is never forget. Well, guess what? I forgot. 9/11 came and went, and I forgot that it even happened.
God.
All right, I forgot. That's been out of my head. The only thing I remember about September 11th was when the only thing I remember or I even hold remotely dear to that day is because the Blueprint 1 album dropped that day. Jay-Z's Blueprint 1 dropped. Other than that, I already forgot. But they'll tell you never forget, but forget what we've done to you. The heinous crimes, forget the slavery, forget the beating, the rape, the rob, the murder.
Yeah.
Forget about Mike Brown. Forget about Tamir Rice. Forget about Sandra Bland. Forget about them.
God.
But we'll remind you of the 4,000 names that got blown up in some bomb that y'all blew up. We'll remember the 4,000 lives, right? Those 4,000 people. But forget about Philando Castile. Forget about him. Got shot in front of his daughter. Don't worry about Alton Sterling. Don't worry about him. Forget about that. And we're gonna make you forget because we're gonna kill you and make ourselves not guilty. So you want to forget it. You don't want to think about that. You don't want to think about Trayvon Martin. Why? Because Zimmerman is still running around. It makes you not want to think about it. But they made sure they built them a nice little monument over there in World Trade Center 1, right? Up to the sky, so you will never forget.
Oh, yeah. From there, give me Psalms chapter 35, verse 19.
Come. Psalms chapter 35, verse 19. Let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me.
Yeah. This is a prayer. He's talking to the Most High. Don't let these fools, don't let these heathens wrongfully, don't let them rejoice over me wrongfully. Read.
Neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without a cause.
Read.
For they speak not peace.
They speak not peace, but they expect us to be peaceable. Read.
But they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land.
Same way like now, same way like in Nehemiah's time. All they want to go do is build up the walls. But they want to go lay traps and snares for them. They want to set them up. They want to cause confusion and discord. Read on.
You know, I can see why they hate us now. Because we're actually prophesying their demise and prophesying their slavery and showing them through the scriptures that this is what's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
And we're exposing the white man as the devil and all these nations as confederate with Esau. So I can see right now why they hate us. Because we're showing that their time is short. You know, but all through history, you got to see the hate that they've done towards us. Where, yeah, a lot of it was for no cause. A lot of it was for no reason that we gave. Obviously, we know ultimately we messed up with the Most High.
God.
Most High put us in slavery to these nations, but you got to see it, man. These nations, they'll hate you without a cause, without a real reason. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Yea, they opened their mouth wide against me, and said, Aha, aha, our eye hath seen it.
All right, that's in on that one. I mean, it's just like now. Nothing's changed. They still mock us, ridicule us. They say, we're a hate group. They say that, what else they be saying? We're racist. We hate women. You know, all we do is yell. The one that really killed me, when I seen this video, there's a couple pastors talking about how, reaching out to the congregation, talking about how they got to be secure in the faith because we pull away weak-minded individuals into what we talk into the scriptures by playing Bible hopscotch. You know, hopscotch, you throw the rock and you hop on the squares, jump over the square that got the rock, hop, 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 go to the end, turn around, hop, 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 that we playing Bible hopscotch because we jump around in the Bible.
Do we do what the Bible says?
Because we do what the Bible says. What the Bible say? Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. That's how you get the complete understanding. But they say we play Bible hopscotch. You know, they constantly want to make us look bad. And it was brothers that was saying this. Oh yeah, our own people in a Gentile state of mind. They didn't believe they're Israelites. They're like, we're Gentiles. We gotta support Israel.
Because Esau don't got to do the work no more. He already did it. He already did the work. He broke us and broke our spirits and turned us into him. Y'all got to see it, man. Our people, they are Edomites. They are Moabites. They are Ammonites. Mm-hmm. They are Jebusites and Hamites. They are Sodomites. Their mind is broken into the customs of these people where Esau ain't got to do nothing. You know what he do? When we on them corners teaching, all he got to do is send a Judite out.
Oh yeah.
All you got to do is send Judah out with a police uniform. And Judah get riled up on us more than Esau does. Judah will turn up more on us than the white man will in the uniform. It's funny. We've encountered a few officers, and usually the one that acts like a prick is our own people. It'd be damn Issachar or it'd be Judah. We done had Chinese, Japanese, white. I had East Indian. I even had a Hamite in a uniform. It was cool as a mug. He was just talking, just rapping.
Someone would sit back and listen.
But Judah just be ready to just kick you off the block, rip your fringes off you, kick your podium down, rip your signs up, burn them. Mm-hmm. Judah, because he's been programmed by the system to hate his own people. Go ahead.
So yeah, they in all this programming to hate, to defame, to make us look bad, they actually enjoy doing that. They enjoy talking crap about us. You know what? We see a lot of it on the media. We see a lot of it on YouTube. You know, Yahushua said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what's coming out, what they're actually saying, is just the overflow of what's in their mind. From there, give me Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 2. Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 2. Y'all just hold, wherever we go, y'all just hold Nehemiah chapter 4, because we're going to constantly come back to it.
Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 2.
Read.
And he spake before his brethren in the army of Samaria, and said, what do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves?
They called us feeble. It's like, look at these weak Negroes. Are they really gonna come together? They really gonna get this done? They're mocking us. Now look, I can guarantee you these brothers was not stick figures. They were not skinny, feeble looking. But they were mocking us, saying that we were feeble. Read on.
Because they knew that we were feeble in the mind. They knew that we were feeble because we didn't have our power. And you are feeble when you're captive to somebody else.
That's very true.
You are feeble. And that's how they looked at us. They knew that we didn't serve our power. They knew that we didn't keep our laws. So they knew that we was feeble, man. And they spoke on it. Go ahead.
Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day?
Read.
Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burned?
Yeah, it wasn't a pretty sight. You gotta remember that whenever the heathens overtook us, they didn't leave they didn't just like leave every stone where it was. They was demolishing things. It looked like a war site. Read on.
Verse 3. Now Tobiah the Ammonite was by him, and he said, even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall.
Man, and in that, they're taking a low blow. Imagine you're out here working, putting in this work, sweating, muscles aching, and they're mocking your building skills. They're mocking the structure of the wall that you've been putting this time, love, and care and dedication into building. They said, man, a fox can run up and knock that wall down. Look, their skills is trash.
And their resources, what resources they got? That's how they look. You got to see, that's how they look, man. Like, you know, when you get a building, everybody's looking like, wait a minute, how did they afford that?
Right.
How did they get that? How did they do that? Like everything you do, somebody's looking and questioning how you did it, and not in a good way. They're not saying like, damn, the Most High bless y'all with a building, or bless y'all with this school, or bless y'all with a vehicle, or bless you with that. It's like, how you get that? You supposed to be a broke nigga. You supposed to be a broke Israelite, right? You supposed to be the offscouring of the world. That's how they. You got to see it, man. That's how they look at you. That's how they look at us. Like how did you accomplish this? And if you do try to do something good and stand up, it's going to be to no avail. But that's not up to the onlookers, right? That's all up to the Most High.
That's right.
Go ahead, where we at?
From there,
We're going to read this?
Come.
What is it, Bible study tools?
So I got this offline from a website called Bible Study Tools. And it's just a little excerpt on the same part where we're at in Nehemiah, but just a little bit more detail, just like what we used Josephus for.
It says, the Samaritan faction showed their bitter animosity to the Jews on discovering the systematic design of refortifying Jerusalem. Their opposition was confined at first to scoffs and insults.
So at first, all they did, when they heard about us coming together and getting this done, they just scoffed, insulted, laughed at us, made fun of us. Read on.
In heaping with the governors, made themselves conspicuous and calculated all sorts of disparaging reflections that might increase the feelings of hatred and contempt for them in their own party.
Yeah, they were stirring themselves up. Just like how they said in the Josephus, indignation. They had that indignation towards what we were doing. It made them mad. They were ticked off, for lack of other words.
Well, man, this is crazy. It said it says they made themselves conspicuous and circulated all sorts of disparaging reflections. So what they did, they sent spies in there, man. They sent spies in there to spit weakness into one man's ear.
Oh, yeah.
This nigga Nehemiah, man,
Cancer.
he's a drunkard, or he's a this, or he's a that, or man, these cats, man, that wall, bro. I mean, damn, you really think that wall's gonna stand?
Man, we don't got the right tools.
We ain't got the right tools out here. Like, we ain't got no army. We ain't got this. We ain't got that. They sent men in there to weaken the other men, to cause infighting within the party, because a house divided against itself can't stand. Right? That's what the scriptures say. A house divided against himself cannot stand. But guess what? All the nations know this. How come we don't? All the nations know this. Why do you think they look at us and laugh? Because you got 50 million schools that teach 50 million different things. Y'all are not even unified in your knowledge. Like y'all are the Hebrew Israelite gangster killers for Christ. And Christ has anointed, blessed amongst all people. And y'all can't even get it together within your own doctrine. Y'all can't even unify under your own belief. Wait a minute. Some of y'all don't even believe in Christ? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. Some of y'all don't even believe in Christ. You see how they look at us and laugh? Because I had to laugh at that. Like, damn, there's niggas that claim Israel that don't even believe in Christ.
It's just like you were saying earlier about the messages. How you said I bet somebody put in that message saying I bet Christians don't debate over this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing.
But that's the thing. But see, what it is they inserted. They knew how to insert little agents into different schools, and they put them online, and they'll push, oh, Christ ain't real. They'll push all these different doctrines, and if you're weak-minded enough, you'll believe it. So the same things, I mean, y'all see it. Same things in Nehemiah's time when it was time to build. It's the same tactics, the same revolutionary war tactics that are not that revolutionary, right? It ain't
Divide and
hard.
conquer.
Yeah, it's just divide and conquer. I'll read on. Where am I? The weakness of the Jews in respect of wealth and numbers, the obscurity of their purpose, apparently to reconstruct the walls and celebrate the feast of dedication in one day.
So really, they weren't saying that they were weak as in muscles. It's like what the S.O.W said. They were weak in mind. They were trying to say we were weak mentally. We were weak because of our numbers. We didn't have astronomical numbers. Read on.
The idea of raising the walls on their old foundations, as well as using the charred and moldering debris of ruins as the materials for the restored buildings.
Yeah, so we were using the stuff that was there to rebuild the buildings. That's why they were talking so much smack against us, talking about a fox who run up and break down the wall. But you know what? We knew what we were doing. Even though we were using the old materials, we knew what we were doing. We also, it doesn't say right here, but we did have new materials too. Just to bring it out. It wasn't just strictly the old stuff.
And the hope of such parapet as they could raise, being capable of serving as a fortress of defense. These all afforded fertile subjects of hostile ridicule.
Yeah, so they continue to want to debate us, talk down about us, create division, create doubt, double-mindedness. There's lots of double-mindedness that happens in Israel. All because someone spits a little doubt. A Hamite come out and say, or somebody come and say, hey, you're not really an Israelite. You're really a Gentile. The people in Israel right now, they're the real Israelites. And then you start questioning, well, am I a Gentile? Are they really the real Israelites? Or the 12 tribe chart, that's not real. That's off. Well, dang, I'm Latino. Am I not really an Israelite? I'm native. Am I not really Israelite? I gotta be black. I gotta be charcoal black to be an Israelite? Create these doubts.
You know what they say too? You know what these rebels, you know what these broken down bricks are? If you want to look at it this way, these broken down bricks is every man before the knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
And they looking and saying, how can a drug dealer, how can these killers, how can these broken women, these broken men, these broken children with broken homes be God's people? How can this rubble, how can this debris of men amount to anything glorious? That's what they look at. When they look at us as broken people. From broken homes, from broken communities, right? Single parent homes. That's how they look at us, man. They're like, how can you be a king and a prince?
God.
You hit them with scriptures like, yeah, we were chosen from the foundation. They're like, nigga, how? Look at you. How? The only thing you want to choose is a crack pipe or a gun.
It's like, I know where you came from. We were neighbors. How are you putting yourself up to be this righteous, holy man of God?
That's the thing. How can you attain to anything if you're at this low estate? How can you build that wall with all that old stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta make the old stuff new.
That's right.
You gotta work with what you got. Where we at?
And jump back to Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 4. And you got to see, during all of this, look, you got to check out how Nehemiah responded to this. Because you know what? To all this ridicule, to all this this murmuring, this backbiting, even the setting up of traps to confuse and destroy the work, we could have just got together and said, you know what? Let's box. Let's fight. Instead of building this wall, we said let's go to war with these people. But check out how Nehemiah replied to this. Read where you at.
Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 4. Hear, O our power, for we are despised, and turn their reproach upon their own head, and give them for a prey in the land of captivity.
Nehemiah turned to the Most High. Nehemiah didn't say, hey, y'all get together, we gonna punch them in the mouth. Anybody that talk, anybody that run up gonna get done up. Anybody that's talking spit's gonna get hit in the lip. He could have been like that. But no, he goes, you know what? I'm gonna just talk to the Most High about this.
There gotta be Cali talk. Run up and get done.
Oh, yeah.
Talking spit, get hit in the lip. That gotta be Cali talk.
Right?
Go ahead.
Read on.
I heard that.
Verse 5. And cover not their iniquity, and let not their sin be blotted out from before thee.
Read.
For they have provoked thee to anger before the builders.
They did what?
Provoke thee to anger before the builders.
He was like, man, we mad. But guess what? It ain't us that's mad. It's you that's mad in us. You provoked the builders to anger. They was hot. They wanted to fight. They wanted to do something. I was like, say something else. I wish a heathen would. That's how it was feeling. But Nehemiah was like, I'm going to just let it all out to the Most High. I'm going to pray to the Most High. Look, vengeance is yours. You deal with them. You deal with them, Yahweh. But read on, verse 6.
You don't want me to read verse 5?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm sorry, that is verse 6, my bad.
Verse 6.
Verse 6. So build we the wall, and all
they went and killed all the heathen?
Build we the wall.
They went and took vengeance?
Build we the wall.
Yeah, man. They didn't get caught up in what was going on outside of the work that they had to do.
Right.
They didn't get caught up in who was saying what, the he said, she said. He that goeth to war entangleth himself
Not with the affairs of this life.
not in the affairs of this life. No soldier that war, entangleth himself with the affairs of this life. No man that's building is worried about how the next man is building. He worried about what he's doing. He worried about his foundation, his building, or he should be. No woman that's building is worried about what the next woman is doing, what the next household is doing, unless he's trying to help. That's the only thing you should be worried about. Is I'm worried about what's going on over here because I'm just trying to help. You see that? But we can't get caught up. We can't get caught up in the things that people say. Things that people do. They say a lot towards us. They call us a lot of things. And a lot. It's funny. You see a lot of brothers, they'll embrace it. They call us a cult. And some brothers be like, yeah, I am a cult leader. I mean, what is a cult? Everything's a cult. So yeah, you're right. We are a cult. Not in the way you think. We ain't over here doing this, the David Koresh, passing around Kool-Aid and stuff and killing brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Waco, Texas type moves, that ain't happening. You know, but we can't get caught up, man. We gotta just stay abiding our labor. I gotta get that one. Go ahead. I want that one.
I was gonna just bring up that movie again. Like the movie that they're making, as far as like in reference to the Israelites, how they're mocking fun.
I seen it. No, it's like a parody type.
Yeah, it's like
Israelite hating on Israelites.
Yeah.
It looks funny.
Yeah. It's comedy. I seen the trailer.
It's a comedy. They gotta mock because we the hottest thing out. They gotta mock us, but all they're gonna do is just fit right into these prophecies.
Read.
Can I get one? Ecclesiasticus 11 and verse 21. Ecclesiasticus 11 and verse 21.
Come on. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 21.
Go ahead.
Marvel not at the works of sinners.
Yeah, man, don't worry about the sinners around you. Don't worry about the heathen. Don't worry about the scoffers and the one that denounce and defame. Go ahead.
But trust in the Most High.
Go ahead.
And abide in thy labor.
Just like Nehemiah, he trusted in the Most High because they talk crap. What did he do? Yahweh, hear, oh Yahweh. He didn't say, okay, my niggas, let's go get the guns, let's get the swords.
Let's ride on them.
Let's ride on these fools, right? I'm talking like I'm from Cali. Let's ride on these fools.
Right.
Right? Let's clip up. He didn't say all that. He said, listen, hear, oh Yahweh. He said, trust in the Lord. Go ahead.
For it is an easy thing
Read.
in the sight of the Most High.
Come on.
On the sudden.
On the what?
On the sudden.
Go ahead.
To make a poor man rich.
Right. He said, and abide in thy labor. Abide. You need to, when you abide in something, you living with that.
That's right.
You're next to that. You're making an acquaintance with that. He said, abide in your labor. Stay in your work. Stay in your lane. Don't try to make a different lane. Don't look in their lane. Stay in your lane. Because the Most High will lift you up all of a sudden. It's nothing for him to make a poor man rich. It was nothing for him to make the rubble that everybody was laughing at into a damn wall. As we're going to read. Go ahead, back in Nehemiah.
Nehemiah 4:6.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 4 and verse 6. So we built the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof.
Read.
For the people had a mind to work.
The people had what?
A mind to work.
They abided in their labor.
They abided in their labor. They had a mind to do this work. It was important to them. They weren't trying to sit back on the sidelines. They weren't trying to sit back and say, oh, well, they got it over there. They were like, no, we in it. They weren't like, oh, well, he got that. I ain't even going. He can do it. No, they were in the work.
And they weren't looking at what everybody else was saying and getting discouraged either. Like, man, they talking bad about us over there. We getting weary.
Getting in their feelings, getting emotional.
Getting emotional, getting in their feelings, getting tired of doing it. Man, I'm tired of being the off-scouring. I'm tired of being looked at like this. Why we gotta be? Nigga, just keep working. Just keep working. Keep building your house. Keep building your children. Be there for your husband. Why you worried about what your cousin and them is talking about?
Right.
Girl, why you gotta be submissive to your man? And why? She's telling you not to do that, but she ain't got one.
Right.
She's telling you not to submit to something that she don't even got. And then when she do got them, she don't got them in the same breath. She don't got them in the same breath that she got them, because he'll come, and as soon as her mouth open, he's
Out.
sound like the road runner.
Me.
Why? Abide in your labor. Abide in what the Most High put in front of you, the good works. Abide in your household. Abide in your children. Abide in your husband. Abide in the word. That's where we're supposed to be at. Not the gossip, bouncing around, listening to, letting people uproot the things, supplant the things that the Most High and that your husband is putting in your head. All over a damn head wrap and a dress and cooking. Some of y'all hate cooking. Some of y'all hate dresses. Some of y'all hate being obedient. Some of y'all hate submitting like it's a bad thing. Some of y'all hate that. What else? Some more to add? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, if you have someone that's like that, like that's just feeding you all the negativity.
Oh, you want to go to a whole other class, don't you?
I'm just gonna say one thing.
What you gonna say?
If you have someone doing that, you should battle that with the positivity, with the word, with the knowledge. Just give them the advice that you're supposed to be following.
Well, you got to be first following it. Avenging all disobedience once your obedience is fulfilled. So you got to be following advice to give it. Right? Or they're going to look at you like, hypocrite. I'm not going to follow you because you ain't following it.
Right.
So you got to be the example. You got to be that example. All of us. That's man, woman, and child. I always tell my son now, like, bro, you 6. You're a grown man. You're the example. I gotta pump that in his head. You 6, you grown. You 6, you, and not in that way, like you grown, do your own thing, but you're older than a lot of the little boys here now. They looking at you. They looking at your example. So I gotta. So even the children gotta get that. Where we at?
Verse 6.
Hey, you gotta have that mind to build. He's building his son up. Building ribs. Building brothers. Building the camp. They had a mind to build. A mind to work. Read on, verse 7. Verse 7.
But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up.
There's all these nations, all these ites, you know, they're like, they're actually getting something done. They're actually coming together. The wall is actually, it's looking kind of nice. Hold on. Something's up here. Read on.
And that the breaches began to be stooped. Stop.
Read.
Then they were very wroth.
They're like, no, this ain't happening. We can't let this happen. Come on now, we got to come up with a plan. We can't let this go down like this. Just like we were reading earlier, just like Quatazal was talking about earlier, sending in the division, sending in the doubt, sending in the double-mindedness, doing something to disrupt the work. Different doctrines, spies, different things that disrupt the households, disrupt the building and the camps. You know, we were street speaking one time, and I swear that it was Judah that called the police on us. It wasn't Esau. It wasn't some nation. We're street speaking. Some kids, they're probably like 19, 20. They said, "Hey, you know y'all disturbing people out here." I was like, "Hey man, we're out here teaching the Bible, just spreading the news to our people." It was like, "Yeah, but nobody want to hear that," and they kept going. About 15, maybe 20 minutes later, the police rolled up on us. But guess what? There's people sitting outside on their porch listening to us. There's people across the street at the car wash listening to us. People wanted to hear what we had to say. A lady told me when I gave her a flyer, said, "I look for you guys to come every weekend. I like when you guys are out here." They want to hear it. They want the word. You know what? At times it sounds harsh, but guess what? They're knowing that the things that we're bringing out are the things that's needful for them. And they like it. We're building up the walls, and these people's getting up upset.
Yeah, but if we went off the faithless, hateful niggas that say they don't want to hear us, where would we be? If we went off the hate, if we went off the negative, like, yeah, we don't want y'all around, and we went off of that, like, yeah, we can't go over there next week because they don't want to hear this, where would we be? What would we have accomplished? Nothing. That's why we got to go off of what the Most High said. Go to the highways, go to the byways, go here, go there. Keep abiding in your work. Go ahead, where we at?
Verse
8. And conspired all of them together to come in to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it.
To do what?
Hinder it.
They want to hinder the process. Just like when they called the police on us. Just like when we're doing here at the school, we were feeding the community and the homeless. They said, "Oh no, y'all can't do that. Y'all got to have some kind of license to give food away. You got to pay to give? Come on, man, that don't make no sense."
Right.
From there, give me Psalm chapter 83 and verse 1. And you know what's wild? Man, Dorothy just said it. I like it because it makes a lot of sense. You know, ain't no pastor gonna come out and wage war with us on that corner. He gonna get ate alive. He gonna get eaten alive on any block in front of any Israelite. He gonna get destroyed. But what do? They make sure that they teach their people in church that, yeah, Christ did do away with the law. Yeah, it's okay to eat pork. Yeah, Christmas is okay. Yeah, Halloween's okay. They'll push the madness harder and harder and harder. Yeah, you don't need to follow the 10 Commandments or any of the commandments. That's how they wage war against what we what we build. You're like, oh, wait a minute, this is what they teach? Okay, I'm going to teach like them. You know how many pastors teach like us now?
Oh, precept upon precept.
Oh, yeah, they go precept upon precept, but still off.
Mm-hmm.
Still be wrong. They go precept on precept on how to eat pork.
Yes.
On how not to keep the commandment. On how the law is done away with. So what's it showing? We got to be more valiant. We got to be more diligent in the works. We got to study more. We got to be more on top of what's going on around us. Because they're seeing what's going on. Listen, the scriptures say that the devils know the word, but they tremble. They believe. So it ain't just about putting my hand to this work anymore. You got to believe in what the hell we're doing. You got to believe it with a whole heart. The devils believe, but they tremble. Where we at?
Psalms chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh.
You know what? Back to prayer. This was David praying. Same way Nehemiah combated it. They were confederate against us. They wanted to make plans. They wanted to, they wanted to conspire against us. Read on.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult,
Read.
and that they hate thee have lifted up the head.
And they that hate me.
Read again.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Read.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They did what?
Taken crafty counsel.
They were getting crafty. They were coming up with game plans. Read on.
Against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Read on.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Let's disperse them. Let's break up what they got going on. Let us not have them united. Let us come up with any kind of way possible we can separate them. Whether it be Section 8, WIC, child support. What's more of these government things?
TANF. Section 8.
You know,
It's all the same.
food stamps. Saying like, oh, okay,
Crips and Bloods.
yeah, you can get housing, but you can't have a man in the house. Oh yeah, Crips and Bloods, Black Panthers, whatever is gonna separate, whatever is gonna make division.
Voting. Republicans. Yeah.
Yeah, Democrats, Republicans.
And it's not just, you know, it's cold. Instead of us cut them off from being a nation, you know what always comes to my mind is, it's not just to cut us off, but think about how they did it, man. They cut us off and then became us. Bro, that's the coldest thing ever. Not only did they destroy us and put us in the back seat, on the back burner, but they took everything that we had, bro. They became us. Man, you gotta think about how, like when it says crafty counsel, how crafty you gotta be to become a people and take a person's whole identity and nationality and custom and way of living, and then you put it into you make it into a religion for all to be included into. Yo, I mean,
That's it.
you talk about conspiracy, bro. I mean, it don't get no more. It don't get no more Mulder and Scully than that. You know,
X-Files.
they don't get more X-Files than that. Area 51 than that. Like they took a whole nationality
Right.
and turned it into a religion. Think about that, man. When has it ever happened in history where someone's whole way of living was turned into a religious, spooky, ghouls and goblins belief with a bunch of other weird things added in, like Christmas and 4th of July? Because they'll show you like, oh yeah, 4th of July, you Christians, you know, and it's crazy. You had your hand.
Yeah, wasn't there some Edomite that went to like a HBCU and got like full scholarship for like posing as black?
The white lady?
Yeah. Or did she?
Did she?
She got something like.
Yeah, she was part of the NWCP or NAACP.
Yeah. You talking about her?
Yeah, she was a white woman.
white lady, but she got
Somebody Google it. When she got micro
Yeah.
braids and all that. Yeah.
She got a super
Bro,
tan.
she was like part of the NAACP here, but that was created by white folk.
She got lip injections.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You talking about gender, just identity thieving. But this is what it boils down to. It's not just let's cut them off. The way they wipe us out is to be us. Because it's not about, when you look at it, what is the glory? What is that? What is it that they're trying to take from us? It's the glory of being able to serve the Most High. It's the glory of being able to be called the children of the Most High.
The chosen ones.
So I'm going to be called the chosen while you just a dirtbag. They know they can't really cut us off. They can't kill us. There's too many of us. We're too strong. But I can take away what gives you power and strength. And that's what they've done. They haven't killed us. This Psalms 83 is happening every day. It's been happening. This has been happening from the dawn of time. How come they ain't killed us yet? Well, that wasn't the thing. To kill us, they can't kill us. They can't wipe us out. The Most High won't let that happen. But they have taken away our strength. Where we at?
Read on.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Verse 5.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
They were united against us to divide us. But what did Nehemiah do earlier in the chapter? He spoke his peace to the Most High, our defender, our power. Once we pray on it, once we lift up, once we face the east, send out these prayers, convicted in what we got going on, convicted in the work and the purpose that the Most High has set us out to do. There's nothing else that we need to do but the work. Because the Most High is with us. Jump back to Nehemiah chapter 4 and get verse 9.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 4 and verse 9. Nevertheless, nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our power.
Read.
And set a watch against them day and night.
So he said, okay, look, we prayed on it. Now let's put our faith into action now. Let's do the things that we know necessary to do because the Most High is on our side. Read on.
Because of them. And Judah said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall.
There's that murmuring. There's that backbiting. There's that complaining. There's that division. Read.
Verse 11. And our adversaries said, they shall not know, neither see, till we come in the midst among them, and slay them, and cause the work to cease.
So there's a crafty counsel. They're like, we're going to sneak up on them while they're working. We're going to catch them off guard because guess what? They look too unified and focused on this building right here, so they won't even see us coming. The scripture said we need to walk circumspect. Not walk around with our head in the clouds. Look, just because when we go out street speaking, we're street speaking and focusing on the scriptures, but guess what? We're looking around. We're seeing who's coming. We're seeing who's going. We're seeing what possible dangers are out here. We're not just so focused on the book, but we got the book inside of us, and we're bringing it out. That's why when brothers say bring it out, because we bring what's in us, what the Most High put in us. We bringing that out.
FTKEPDTK. Was that a question? Was that a question that you were asking about the Revelations? Repost it if it is, please.
So,
Where we at?
Verse
Look.
12.
hold that and give me 2 Maccabees chapter 15 and verse 8. 2 Maccabees 15 and 8.
We're going to go to 9:30 since we started late.
Now you got to see, they're discomforted. They got Nehemiah say, hey, look, we prayed on the Most High. Let's get the work. We prayed to the Most High. Let's get the work done. And then doubt and division start coming up from within the ranks. They're brothers was getting uneasy about what they're doing. But look how, I want to jump to this verse and here in the Apocrypha in 2 Maccabees, how Judas Maccabeus comforted his men. The same way that Nehemiah comforted the men then. Read what you at.
2 Maccabees chapter 15, verse 8. Wherefore he exhorted his people not to fear the coming of the heathen against them.
He said, don't trip. Don't trip on these people that's coming against us. Because guess what? We have God on our side. If I get a little Christian. No. God. He was like, we got real power. We got the real power on our side. Read on.
But to remember the help which in former times they had received from heaven.
From where?
From heaven.
From heaven. They received this help. This help didn't come from the ground. It didn't come from a man next to him. It didn't come from some sticks and stones, some wood, some gold, some iron. It came from above. He reminded them of this. Read on.
And now to expect the victory and aid.
They said to do what?
To expect the victory and aid.
He said expect. Be presumptuous. We got this.
Hope for the good.
Hope for the good. We got this. There's no need for us to doubt. It said, he that doubteth is damned if he eateth. We ain't doubting. We got this. This is done. Count this as a win. Put a W in the book.
God.
Read on.
Which should come unto them from the Almighty.
Read.
And so comforting them out of the law and the prophets.
Out of the what?
Out of the law and the prophets.
Okay, so if you don't know what the law and the prophets are, that's the Bible. That is the Bible that they had at that time, which would be considered now the Old Testament. He comforted them out of the law, the first 5 books of Moses, and the rest of it, the prophets. He comforted them out of the scriptures. Read on.
And withal, putting them in mind of the battles that they won afore, he made them more cheerful.
He said, look it, come on now. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, look at the generations of old that ever put their faith, their trust in the Most High and was forsaken or confounded. He reminded them of these things. Look, remember how many times we went out to battle and won? Remember how many times situations was hopeless, but we overcame it? Look at the generations of old, how they overcame. Most High is with us. The Most High, He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Read on.
Verse 10. And when he had stirred up their minds, he gave them their charge, showing them therewithal the falsehood out of the heathen, Salakia, and the breach of oaths.
Yeah, the falsehood of the heathens. All the mess, like in Nehemiah's time that they're talking, all the trash talk, all the things, the accusations, all the divisions they tried to cause, the breaking of the oath. Come on.
The funny part about this is that he was telling them about Nehemiah. Maccabees happened after Nehemiah.
Yes, sir.
He was reminding them of this. He was reminding them when Nehemiah was building the wall. It said out of the law and out of the prophets, right?
God.
So he probably mentioned Nehemiah, Isaiah, Ezekiel, Obadiah, Amos, right? He was reminding them, like, look at Nehemiah when the heathen came up against him. What did they do?
Right. Hey, and then last verse out of this Maccabees. Verse 11.
Thus he armed every one of them.
He did what?
Armed every one of them.
He gave them the swords, spears, shields, buckler, helmet. They was ready for war now. War ready. He armed them. But let's see exactly how he armed them.
Not so much with defense of shields and spears.
Okay, so he didn't really give them a shield. He didn't really give them some spears. What did he do? Read on.
As with comfortable and good words.
He gave them comfortable and good words. He gave them words of encouragement.
See, this is what we talk about. This is why we can't build, because people come online and want to argue about old topics that we've already proven through the scriptures. This is why it's so hard for us to get anywhere. You still want to argue about who's a Jew and who's a Gentile? Like, we've already been through this. We know who Paul went to. We know who Paul was speaking to. He first went to the Jews that knew they were Jews, then he went to the Gentiles because there were Jews in Gentile state of mind. But see, it's perfect example. Perfect example right there of why we can't build our nation. Because instead of sitting back and listening to the topic, you come with a whole nother thought process and topic and try to deter everybody else from learning. What sense does that make?
Distracted.
You come with a distraction, you come with something else and you throw people off. How does that help? I mean, this person might not even be an Israelite, so it don't matter. But I'm just showing you, this is exactly what we talk about. This is why we got to go through these topics. It's the same thing. It's the same thing where people will come out of left field with a whole other thought process. And if y'all online ain't rooted and grounded, you'll look at his question like, damn, he has a point. Why did Paul turn to the Gentiles? Well, he went to the Gentiles because the Jews that knew they were Jews, they wasn't trying to hear him. If you read up, it'll tell you that. The verse up, 13 verse 45. It'll tell you that. And then when you read down, you'll understand, if you understand what Paul was doing, he went to the Gentiles because he knew that there were Israelites in a Gentile state of mind, just like he was. All right, so I'll let him get back to his class, but I'm glad you came on and proved that point for us. Go ahead.
Can't do nothing against the truth but for the truth.
Go ahead.
Read on.
2 Maccabees chapter 15, verse 11, last precept. And besides that, he told them a dream worthy to be believed, as if it had been so indeed, which did not a little rejoice them.
What verse you at?
They were turned. That was verse 11.
Last precept.
Oh, okay.
Second Maccabees 15, 11. So from there, jump back to Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 12. They're putting their faith to work now. They're armed. They're armed mentally, spiritually. Read on.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 4 and verse 12. And it came to pass that when the Jews which dwelt by them came, they said unto us 10 times, from all places whence ye shall return unto us, they will be upon you.
Read.
Therefore said I in the lower places behind the wall, and on the higher places,
Go ahead.
I even set the people
Read.
after their families with their swords, their spears,
What else?
and their bows.
He said, okay, look, we're going to set it up. I'm making a plan here. Here's the game plan. Pray. We're going to arm ourselves. We're going to set people up in certain positions to get this done.
No, go ahead. Go
They're
ahead.
going to set people in certain positions. They say armed the families with swords, spears, and bows. Verse 14.
Verse 14. And I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not yet afraid of them.
Don't trip on them. There's no no reason to be afraid of these heathens.
God.
What we're doing is the will of the Most High. There's no... I keep bringing it back to street speaking because we're building out here. We're out here in Houston, Virginia, Albuquerque, all the Israelite camps across the four corners of the earth. We're out here building. We're out there on the block, and the police run up on us. I remember my first time street speaking. And police roll up, and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, snap. Oh, snizzap. Here they come. I'm thinking to myself, you're going to go to jail. I'm going to have a criminal record. This, that, I'm going to lose my job. It's over. And then the brother came to me, he goes, nah, don't worry about them. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about them. I was handing out flyers at the time. So just keep doing what you're doing. Don't get in the street. Kept my head down, kept working, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Police came, we showed off the permit, flashed the permit. There you go. And they left. Problem averted.
Real quick, go to Acts 21. I'm going to give you one scripture. And hopefully you get it.
Come.
But I'm not gonna go back and forth with this topic because all you gotta do is study. All you gotta do is study and you'll understand. Because you're throwing scriptures out. I'm not gonna let you just sit here and throw scriptures out. Go there real quick. Romans 21 and verse 18. Let's see who Paul taught real quick. Go ahead.
You said Acts or
Acts 21:18. Salat.
Acts chapter 21, verse 18.
Go ahead.
And the day following Paul went in with us unto James.
Right.
And all the elders were present.
Go ahead.
And when he had saluted them,
Read.
he declared particularly what things the Most High had wrought among the Gentiles.
Among the what?
Among the Gentiles.
Right, among the Gentiles. It says that word. Go ahead. Read.
By his ministry.
Read.
And when they heard it, they glorified the Most High and said unto him,
Speaking of those same Gentiles, go ahead.
Thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews.
How many what?
Thousands of Jews.
How many what?
Thousands of Jews.
Gentiles. Go ahead, read.
There are which believe,
Read on.
and they are all zealous of the law.
Read verse 21 for me.
And they are informed of thee.
They are what?
And they are informed of thee.
They are informed of Paul that he does what? Read.
That thou teachest all the Jews.
Come on.
Which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses.
Right. So he was teaching Jews that were amongst the Gentiles. These Jews didn't know they were Jews. They were in a Gentile state of mind. I mean, does it have to say it verbatim? Jews in a Gentile state of mind? All you gotta do is look up the word Gentile. Anyway, let's jump back.
Nehemiah 4 verse 14 from the top.
When you study, and don't come with that spirit of division and confusion. Most High open up them mysteries to you, man. But as long as you come with that confusion, it ain't gonna happen. It don't matter how black your mom or your dad is. It don't matter.
God.
As long as you come in with division and confusion, you'll never understand what a Gentile is, according to the Bible. Go ahead, man.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 4, verse 14. And I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not ye afraid of them.
Why shouldn't they be afraid of them? Read on.
Remember the Most High.
Remember who?
The Most High.
Read.
Which is great and terrible. And fight for your brethren, your sons,
and
your daughters,
and
your wives, and your houses.
See, they had a mind. They had a mind to defend what they believed in. Get this wall done. And guess what? We're not building this wall just for our own selfishness, not just so we can say and glorify in ourselves, say, oh, look what we did. Magnify on our building. bring glory to our building. Look what we did.
We're going to go to about 9. We're going to let him finish the class since we started like 20 minutes late and we got cut off. Well, because we got cut off. So we're just going to let him finish. He's almost done. All right, so we'll probably be here until about 9:30.
So
That full 2 hours.
they had the state of mind like in Judith chapter 8 and verse 24. They knew that everything rested on what they were doing. It says the house, the altar, the sanctuary. They knew that the hearts of their people was depending on them and their example and what they did in the work.
And you know, the ones that like to come and argue, they don't look at that. They don't look at their example. It's sad because you got 20-something people online and then somebody will come and try to throw out scriptures that, first of all, don't got nothing to do with the topic. That's one.
Right.
2, you throwing out confusion and you don't even give a damn about who else you try to confuse. But that's our people, right? That's our people. When you bust your gun, you don't care who it hit. As long as you get your shots off, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't care about your example. You don't care about who you affect, man. And that's the sad part. Because you jump online or you jump behind a camera and you just start teaching or spitting whatever you want to spew out for your own glory. Not considering that there might be a weak-minded brother or sister that don't understand what the hell you're talking about. Because you don't even understand what you're talking about. But you don't even take into consideration, man, who you affect. Now, the scriptures do say that when you offend one of his little ones, it's better for you to cast a millstone around your neck. It's better to throw yourself in a lake with a millstone. So you got to be careful, man. When you come on a live feed or you come on any type of platform and start trying to go back and forth, you got to know that you know that you know that you know. And you got to look at who's being affected by what you're putting out there. Because you're going to be held accountable for that. Now, if you got real love in you, if you got real love for this nation in you, for our people, you're going to be considerate. You're going to consider how you, the level of respect you come with. That's one. Because we all got to respect one another, right? I didn't come off disrespectful to nobody on the chat. So that spirit of contention, that don't need to be there. Like, well, if it says this, then yeah, we know what it says. But you don't get it. But we got to stop doing what is happening now because you don't know who's watching, man. Hebrews 12:1 tells you that we're compassed about with so great cloud of witness. Let us put away the sins that so easily beset us, right? Ain't that what it says? We can go there. But that sin that besets us is all that damn arguing and back and forth and fighting. Imagine if Maccabeus and his people was going back and forth with each other. They would have lost. Yep. Imagine if Nehemiah was going back and forth with the builders. Like, nah, nigga, you putting the wrong nails in. Nah, don't use those bricks. Get them bricks from over here because... And they was arguing back and forth with him. What would they have accomplished?
When one man builds, another one
right in my head. When one man builds, another destroy. What do they got for their profit but labor? What do we got but just back and forth? Like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I'm not going to go back and forth with you because it don't make no sense. But you got to be careful how you come online and just start throwing things out there because somebody is putting that and internalizing that into their spirit. Okay? So if you're going to teach what the churches believe, then go be in church. The churches believe that we are all Gentiles. Go be with them. Don't come on here. Come on. Don't do that. Don't get blocked. If you're going to sit back and listen, just listen. If you don't agree, then log off. Sign out and go do your own thing. But you ain't going to change our minds. We're not going to argue with you. If anything, you're going to get scriptures, and then you're going to leave mad anyway. So don't do what these nations did in Nehemiah's time, man. Don't do that. Because we're going to keep building. Go ahead, where we at?
Nehemiah chapter 4 in verse 17.
No, I'm not upset that you restated your question. At first, I didn't understand that you had a question. That's first and foremost. Because the first thing you wrote was like a statement question with no real grammar. So I had to figure out what was going on. But now that I know that you want to go back and forth, we ain't doing that. Go ahead.
Salakia was 16.
Read
Con.
on. Read on.
Con. And it came to pass from that time forward that the half of my servants wrought in the work, and the other half of them held before Salakia. And the other half of them held both the spears and shields, and the bows, and the Hergians. No, I don't. What is that word? Habergeans. And the rulers were behind all the house of Judah. They which build it.
So they were building, and they had their weaponry with them. Go on.
They which build it on the wall, and they that bear burdens.
Okay, so they that were actually putting the pieces together, and the ones that were bringing the materials in. Go ahead.
With those that laid it, every one with one of his hands wrought in the work.
Go ahead.
And with the other hand held a weapon.
So they were armed while they were working. I think about it like this: when brothers go out and we do flyers, what do we arm ourselves with, Jermaine?
Truth.
What do we arm ourselves with?
Truth.
Truth.
That's it.
Well, what you got in your hand right there?
Sword.
The sword.
We defend ourselves, but we arm our... You just said it. I don't want to add to it. You said it.
We come out with the book. We wear cargo pants.
God.
I put my Bible right in my cargo pocket. And when we start walking and we talk to people, I got my sword right there with me. I'm talking to this brother, we rapping, we getting to know each other, talking about the scriptures, building, and bam, I got my sword with me too. Brother that's with me reading, got his sword with him. Every brother that comes out has their sword with them. We're staying ready. In the same sense that they had their sword and their shield with them while they were working. They were working on one hand and got the sword on the other hand.
I skipped a verse. It was actually 15. I don't know if you want to go over that.
It's good.
Con.
Read on.
Con. Verse 18. For the builders, everyone had his sword girded by his side.
Right on the hip. Right on the hip. Read.
And so builded. And he that sounded the trumpet was by me.
Now, the one that sounded the trumpet was right by Nehemiah, because Nehemiah was orchestrating all these things that was happening. He was leading the people along the work. So if anything popped off, or if he seen any danger coming, he was like, we're going to let this, the trumpeter is going to sound the alarm, and everybody's going to know what's happening, that the enemy's about to fall on us, so they can get ready. You know, you got to understand, right here in this time, they had the sword, they had the spears, they had the shields. But what are we arming ourselves with now? Like I said, we arm ourselves with the wisdom. We walk around with this book. You see a brother walking around with the backpack because he's armed to the teeth. You see a brother with a backpack, he got some dangerous weapons up in there. Them books. He bringing out books on you. I know Thal he comes through with a whole suitcase full of books. Kazakia got a whole trunk full of books. He'll be up here teaching. He's like, dang, man, I hate that I forgot that book. I'm like, dang, this brother got a whole library in his trunk. And he hate that he forgot one book. Because he comes armed. Comes armed with these scriptures. Scriptures committed to memory. Scriptures in precept in our Bible. We don't arm ourselves with carnal things, though. Give me 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3. Because you know what? This is not the battle that we're in, the war that we're in, when it comes to this building, it's not a cardinal thing. Yes, there are cardinal acts involved, but it's not a cardinal thing. Read where you at.
2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh.
Though we walk in the what?
In the flesh.
Okay, so we're living and walking in the flesh. Read.
We do not war after the flesh.
We're not warring with the flesh. We're not in battle against the flesh of other men and women. We're not in battle with the things of this world. We're in battle with something else that's not seen. Read.
Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
Go ahead.
But the mighty through the Most High to pulling down of strongholds.
It's a spiritual battle. We're arming ourselves spiritually. Someone grab Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. Because the weapons that we're using in this, think about it. Think about the story. Nehemiah chapter 4, building the walls. The same weapons that they're using to build are the same weapons that they're using to destroy the current kingdom. That's what the weapons that we use to build are the same weapons we use to fight with. That's destroying this kingdom. Wisdom is better than weapons of war. Read where you at. Hebrews 4 and 12.
Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12.
Go ahead.
For the word of the Most High is quick.
It's what?
Quick.
The word is quick. Go.
And powerful.
And
powerful.
You know what? That powerful. Think about all the power, all the strength that you can muster up in your flesh. Does not even inkling a drop of the strength that comes through the scriptures. That comes through this word. Read on.
And sharper than any two-edged sword.
We don't need swords. We don't need guns. We don't need AK-47s. We don't need bulletproof vests.
God.
We're using this word. Go ahead.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit.
Read.
And of joints and marrow.
Read.
And is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
So we don't need these cardinal things in this battle. And in this battle and in this wisdom that we use, we know the thoughts and intents of the adversary. We know what they're coming up with. Just like how Quadazop attacked, he shielded and then thrust back with this person online. You've seen a prime example of it. And I love the way the Most High works that way. We'll talk about it, and then he'll show you a real life example. It don't usually happen this quick, but Barakatah Yahweh, it happened right here so you can see it. He used a shield and he used a sword.
And that's why I'm mad. If I seem upset, it's because I'm like, yo, we just talked about that, didn't happen. Oppression make a wise man mad.
God.
So I'm mad because we're actually living the folly of the scriptures even to this day. That's what upset me about people that hop online and do that. It's like, come on, man, you don't even consider. But even that two-edged sword, you got to understand, just like in Nehemiah's time, they were working with weapons. They had their sword, they had their weapons to work. Our sword, our weapon that we work with, and our sword is all in one. And that sword works two ways. You swing it, you cut, swing back, cut you, swing it, you heal, swing back, it heals you. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-in-1, a 4-in-1, right? It's one of them Swiss armies.
Oh yeah.
They flip out, they got a screwdriver, Phillips head, they got a damn flashlight on it. They got everything. They got everything. You know, we don't gotta have both hands tied up with a shovel and with a sword. No, we just defend ourselves with this word. We wrap up in that, because I know you about to go there?
The armor.
I mean, yeah, right. It's our armor, it's our offense, and it's our defense. They were on offense building, but they had to be on defense, ready for war.
That's right.
The only way we get ready for war is here. We gird up, we armor up, right? But it's not always defense because you got to heal people.
Yeah.
It's not always a sledgehammer. Like, I didn't even hit nobody with a sledgehammer.
No.
I haven't done that in a while. I'm not upset either. To the level of like, nah, I'm just mad because the fact that we keep living the scriptures in the wrong way every day, man. Every day you see it. It's like, man, we talking about it, then it happens. It's like, wow, come on. Come on, y'all. We got to do better. That's it. I just want us to do better. I have a righteous indignation.
What's that?
I have a righteous indignation for for things, man. Anyway, where we at?
Give me Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10.
Con. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10.
Oh, you was with me, huh? Did you hear that?
I heard that.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Most High.
Read.
And in the power of His might.
Uh-huh.
Put on the whole armor of the Most High.
Arm yourself. Prepare for this work. Prepare for this mission. Come.
Go ahead.
Read on.
That ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Read.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Because this is not a flesh and blood war. Go ahead.
But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world.
Go ahead.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places.
This is a spiritual war ground. This is a spiritual battle. Read on.
Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of the Most High.
Go ahead.
That ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness.
Right.
And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
Read.
Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
You be able to quench what?
All the fiery darts of the wicked.
So when someone jumps on and they want to start taking shots, you're doing what?
Quenching all the fiery darts of the wicked.
When you come up against naysayers that try to spit negativity, you're doing what?
Quench all.
We got to know that it's a spiritual battle on all fronts. Go ahead.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 4, verse 19. And I said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, the work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another. In what place, therefore, ye hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us.
You know, and when I thought about this, when I read it, and I was thinking about the unity. I was thinking about the unity between the camps and between Israel. If something's going down, can we let off an alarm to everybody else and we come together in unity?
Can you delete the first one?
Can we come together and agree against a common enemy or for a common goal? This is what Nehemiah was doing. He said, look, hey, I'm going to sound the alarm so the people down here can hear it, and they sound the alarm so the people down there can hear it. Come on, man, we all Israelites out here. There's no need for camp banging. There's no need to for backbiting, murmuring, going against each other, sending agents into different schools against one another. That's madness. There's no need for all that. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to unify and come together as one. But you know what? Hey, prophecy being fulfilled. Read on.
Our power shall fight for us.
Go ahead.
So we labored in the work, and half of them held the spears from the rising of the morning till the stars appeared.
Go ahead.
Likewise, at the same time, said I unto the people, let every one with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be guard to us and labor on the day.
So, from there we're going to go to the Josephus. Just to cap it all off. Josephus,
Got hot up in here for a second.
book 11, chapter 5, section 176.
Josephus, section 176. Let me see here. It says, but none of these things could deter Nehemiah from being diligent about the work. He only set a number of men about him as a guard to his body.
So he was diligent in this work. There was nothing that was going to deter Nehemiah from getting this work done. He was focused and diligent in what he was doing.
And so unweariedly preserved therein, and was insensible of any trouble out of his desire to perfect his work.
So he wasn't focused on anything else. He was just focused on getting the work. He wasn't focused on his body. He wasn't focused on his family, his kids, the job he left behind while he was doing this work.
And thus did he attentively and with great forecast take care of his own safety.
Go ahead.
Not that he feared death. So he did have guards.
Yeah, he had guards on himself.
He had guards on himself. That way he wouldn't have to worry about himself. For his citizens would never be raised. He also gave orders that the builders should keep their ranks.
Oh no, you skipped the part. So he attentively,
with great forecast, take care of his own safety. Not that he feared death, but of this persuasion that if he were dead, the walls for his citizens would never be raised.
Yeah, so he was like, you know what? I gotta keep this going, because if I'm not here, this might not keep going. I want this to happen for the Most High. I gotta keep going.
He was that motivation. It's like Paul. He said his wish is to be with the Most High, but it's better for me to be with. It's needful for me to be here with you. To be that example. So Nehemiah served as that. He was the motivation. He was the one that the Most High sent to order and guide the rebuilding of these walls.
Yes, sir.
He also gave orders that the builders should keep their ranks and have their armor on while they were building.
Go ahead.
Accordingly, the mason had his sword on, as well as he that brought the materials for building. He also appointed that their shields should lie very near them, and he placed trumpeters at every 500 feet and charged them that if their enemies appeared, they should give notice of it to the people, that they might fight in their armor, and their enemies might not fall upon them naked.
They don't get caught off guard. He had it all set up. He prayed. He had a game plan and executed. Go ahead.
He also went about the compass of the city by night, being never discouraged, neither about the work itself, nor about his own diet and sleep.
He wasn't focused on him. He was focused on the nation. He was focused on the work set before him. Go ahead.
For he made no use of those things for his pleasure, but only out of necessity.
Go ahead.
And this trouble he underwent for 2 years and 4 months.
2 years, 4 months in building, in consistency, in focus and dedication. Go ahead.
For in so long a time was the wall built. In the 28th year of the reign of Xerxes, in the 9th month.
So, I just wanted that part to come out in the Josephus, so you can get the time period of when this happened, and actually how long he was in the work. Just a couple more scriptures. If you can get Psalms 127 and verse 1.
Somebody else get James 2:18? I'll get it. Somebody else get it.
And someone else.
127 and verse 1.
Yeah, Psalms 127 and verse 1.
Come. Book of Psalms, chapter 127 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Except the Most High build the house,
Read.
they labor in vain that build it.
See, the house, this building, this work that we're in right now, in these camps, in these schools, in Nehemiah's time in building the wall, it was the will of the Most High. It wasn't anybody, it wasn't by man's will. Read on.
Except the Most High keep the city, the watchmen watch
So it doesn't matter.
Wicked, but in vain.
It doesn't matter what kind of work is being done if the Most High ain't with it.
Did the stream go down?
It doesn't mean anything.
So we're offline.
James 2:18.
It's good?
James 2:18. Because in this, we had to exercise our faith in the Most High and our faith in the examples of our elders in the past and use it. Not just saying, hey, you know what? The Most High is going to get the walls built and sit back and watch the rubble build itself. Read on.
James chapter 2 verse 18. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works.
Go ahead.
Shew me thy faith without thy works, and I will shew thee my faith by my works.
Me working is me showing you that I have, is showing the faith that I have. Me working is actually believing that the Most High is coming through and helping me along my building. They're fighting with me and protecting me through all the catastrophic events, the trials, the tribulations, the heartaches, the sufferings, the long nights, the scoffers,
The no sleep, the no food.
Right. The Most High He's with me on that. This is my faith. Me going through this is showing my faith. Me working is showing my faith.
Go ahead.
Give me 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 8. Last scripture.
What is it?
13 and verse 8.
1 Corinthians chapter
2
13.
Corinthians 13 and verse 8.
2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 8. For we can do nothing against the truth.
We can do what?
Nothing against the truth.
There's nothing that people on naysayers online, people in media, Esau, Gentiles, heathens, Israelites in a Gentile state of mind can do against the truth. Read.
But for the truth.
But for the truth.
Mic drop. Damn. Any questions?
Mic drop, y'all.
Any questions?
That last Josephus reading, was it, what was it, book 7?
Book 11.
Book 11.
Chapter 5. Section. It's actually section 8. Yeah. But then there's pre-sections, but it's section 8. And it goes in there. Yeah. You got the blue with Josephus?
I don't have one yet.
Oh.
I was just asking for future reference.
Right.
Yeah.
Go back and read it.
Yeah, I can read that. I'm going to read mine tonight. I need to. Any questions? Live? All right, well, another good class. I liked it. Good one, right? We gotta stop. We gotta stop it, Israel. We gotta stop it. Anyway, we'll be back Wednesday. We'll be back Wednesday with another good one. Hopefully, Thawum can come and finish up his science class. That'll be good. I mean, either way, we'll have some heat. There's gonna be some heat in the building. Either way.
Fervent heat.
Yeah. So, all right. We thank y'all for joining us once again. Keep fighting, keep studying, keep praying. Again, we got the feast day on Friday, so on Wednesday we probably have to go on France. Yeah. Got the feast day on Friday, so we won't have class. So keep that in mind. And yeah, we'll be back Wednesday. All right? So with that, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom!
And we'll see y'all back on Wednesday.
Keep the Bible on cop. The Most High is my rock. TK. Rock. The Most High is my rock. Rock. The Most High is my rock. My rock. The Most High is my rock. In the name of Messiah, the Most High is my rock.